Well, Donald Trump just lost the popularity contest to Canada. CNN's data shows 60% of Americans now oppose Trump's tariffs, and they love Canada more than him by a margin of 60 freaking points. That's not a gap, that's a canyon.
It turns out you can't run an economy on ego and executive orders, but you can run one on trust, maple syrup, and a mineral strategy. One of those is optional. I'll let you guess which one.
So here's the headline that CNN dropped. Americans have turned against tariffs harder than any other Trump policy. Back in 2020, most people were on board. Yeah, make China pay, they said.
Fast forward to 2025 and 60% of Americans are done with tariffs. Because when the price of lumber, trucks, and Canadian steel goes up, people start asking questions like, why are we paying more for construction because Trump's mad at Ottawa?
And the math is brutal. Canada's plus 49 and Trump's minus 10. Canada's like the popular kid that everyone wants to sit with. And Trump's the one who throws milk cartons. And the cafeteria? They're finally over it.
And that's not just a difference, that's a demolition. A 92-point gap so wide you could drive a convoy through it and still have room for the RCMP escort.
Trump seriously miscalculated. He thought bullying Canada would be easy.
Yeah, we're polite, but not passive. We've never let a bully push us down.
We're the country that says sorry before we flatten you in hockey or outmaneuver you in trade negotiations.
Canada doesn't invade countries, we outclass them with decency. And if we do show up uninvited, it's with poutine and a peacekeeping force.
According to Gallup, 89% of Americans hold a favorable view of Canada. Woo! That's plus 79 net rating. That's top of the world, baby.
And yet, if you listen to MAGA media, you'd think we were North Korea with snowplows.
Yeah, apparently, we're stockpiling maple nukes and plotting to annex Buffalo.
Relax, guys. The only thing we're weaponizing is our universal health care.
We're not trying to conquer you. We just want to keep the border open so people can work, trade, and visit without getting caught by ICE for having the wrong accent and too much common sense.
The US-Canada border has always been the longest peaceful border on Earth. And it's not just symbolic. Millions of jobs depend on it from both sides.
Every car, plane, and train built in North America has a little bit of Canada in it.
Even the US military runs on Canadian aluminum, energy, and rare minerals.
And yet, Trump talks like we're some freeloading neighbor running a meth lab.
Which, to be clear, is still more stable than his trade policy.
That's true. Americans get it, though. They know that we're not the enemy. We're the buffer keeping democracy's northern firewall running.
Canada's always been there for the US when it counts. We show up, but with snow tires instead of excuses.
Before we move on, let's clear something up. Canadians don't hate America. We hate Trump and anyone trying to sell fascism with fireworks.
Real Americans and real Canadians still love each other. We travel together, we protest together, we even meme together.
No King's Day rallies are happening on both sides of the border because democracy is not about flags, it's about freedom.
And nothing says freedom like marching beside a guy in a beaver onesie holding a sign that says, "Maple syrup, not MAGA!"
Some of our best friends are American. We've spent months traveling and filming across the states, from Alaska to Hawaii, Florida to Oregon. Heck, we've even been to Guam and American Samoa. You don't do that if you hate America. You do that because you love it.
Thousands of Canadians spent half the year down south. We went for the sunshine, the friendship, and the shared sense of humor that only comes from being neighbors.
That's why this whole feud feels wrong. We don't want to boycott the US. It's just that at this point, it's our duty.
Because when the US ambassador to Canada starts screaming the F word at Ontario's trade rep in Ottawa at a business council dinner, you know diplomacy has left the building.
Yep, that great guy Pete Hoekstra, the same guy from yesterday's video, which you can check out in the links below, and I suggest you do, well, he apparently went full WWE at the National Gallery. The man turned a trade reception into a cage match.
Witnesses said he was furious over Ford's Reagan ad. And we get it, Pete. It hurts when the truth goes viral.
But come on. That's not diplomacy. That's damage control with a side of delusion. Canadians aren't the one losing our cool here. We're calm, collected, and unified across all provinces and across all parties.
Because we've got nothing against Americans. We just don't like bullies, liars, or anyone who mistakes arrogance for strength.
Hence, the entire Trump government.
Well, except for Marjorie Taylor Greene, what happened there? Did she get deprogrammed from the Mar-a-Lago Stepford Wives Club?
Honestly, if she's the voice of reason now, that's like putting a raccoon in charge of the garbage schedule.
And while America's politics are turning into late-night sketch material, the rest of the world is tuning into a different story. Canada's.
Yep, Canada's not just popular in the States, we are trending globally. Condé Nast Traveler just named Canada one of the top 10 countries in the world for 2025.
And that's not some insider vote, that's the world voting. Hundreds of thousands of people across the globe.
So while that clown Hoekstra is screaming about burned bridges, people are actually booking trips to Banff or Montreal or the Yukon, or anywhere that doesn't require explaining why your president just tried to tariff hockey sticks.
The most loved countries in the world report by RepTrack named us #1 for kindness, safety, and authenticity. In other words, we like the country that isn't run by a toddler with the nuclear codes.
And it's not just tourists. Canada's diplomacy, our economy, and our reputation are booming because the world's starving for something reliable.
We're not out there picking fights or bullying allies. We're building partnerships. Or, as Mark Carney calls it, adulting on a global scale.
Yet we really are adults. So when the US shuts down trade talks, what do? We open new offices in London. We get new trade deals in Asia and new friendships around the world.
And that's what burns Trump the most. He's losing control of the narrative. The world's seeing Canada as the grown-up in the room.
Now look, we're not perfect, but we show up. And right now, that's worth more than all the bluster in Washington.
It turns out you can't tariff integrity.
And all this goodwill means something bigger, right? Canada's global reputation is now one of our strongest economic assets.
We're the world's steady friend in an unstable neighborhood. Investors are literally saying, we'll take the boring democracy with the functioning institution, thanks.
And honestly, we'll take it too. The new Canadian brand is calm, credible, and cash flow positive.
And that's the biggest irony of all. While Trump shouts about greatness, Canada quietly built it with actual results and polite handshakes.
Now listen, we're not flashy, but we're functional. And right now, that's priceless.
And that's not just talk. Carney's proving it. He's cutting through the red tape, breaking down barriers, and telling the world that Canada's open for business. The reliable partner you actually want to sit next to at the global table.
Because think about it, if you're deciding where to invest, a stable Canada or a US that changes direction every time Trump sees a meme, I think the choice isn't very hard.
It's like betting on a marathoner versus the guy chasing squirrels on social media. Canada's the marathoner. Focused, steady, and built for distance. Which brings us to our neighbors to the south.
To our American friends, we see you. You're tired, you're frustrated, you're trying to keep your democracy from going full dumpster fire.
But we're not giving up on you because you haven't given up on us. We still believe in the American spirit, the kind that builds bridges, not walls.
Canadians are standing beside you, marching, donating, amplifying, because democracy isn't just yours to save, it's ours too.
So we'll hold the northern line if you handle Florida. Deal?
So let's recap. While Trump builds tariffs, Canada is building trust.
So we'll let him rage on Truth Social and auction off visas to the highest bidder. We'll keep welcoming allies who actually build things, not buy them.
Canada's doors aren't for sale. They're open to partners who show up, not cash out.
Because the only walls we're building are made with kindness, not concrete.
And apparently, CNN, Gallup, and Condé Nast, they agree.
Canada's winning the popularity contest, and this time it actually means something.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more Canadian truth with a side of sass.
And join the A-Team for some behind-the-scenes conversation and to support this channel.
Hey, we've even got Canada Proud merch. Now, some in French, because inclusivity looks great in red and white.
And don't forget to sign up for our Substack. Free or paid, but both come with 100% pure Canadian honesty.
And make sure to share this with your American friends who could use a good laugh and a little hope.
So stay smart, stay strong, and stay Canadian, the world's favorite democracy.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.